You might think that once you hit the pillow, your body finally gets to rest. That sleep is just sleep, and if you're lucky enough to get 6 or 7 hours, you're doing fine. But let me ask you something deeper. What if the way you spend your last few hours before bed is actually setting the tone for how fast you age? What if some of your most routine nighttime habits you've held onto for decades, are quietly wearing down your heart, clouding your memory, and stealing the quality of rest your aging body so desperately needs? This is not about fear, it's about awareness. Because after 60, the body becomes more sensitive to patterns, more responsive to small changes, and unfortunately more vulnerable to small mistakes. This is about motivation. It's about inspiration. It's about learning from the real-life lessons of the elderly, those who've walked the path before us and now speak from experience. Tonight, I want to walk you through 2 of the 5 most damaging bedtime habits that seniors need to let go of, starting now. These aren't myths, they're backed by real science. And even more importantly, by stories from people who lived through the consequences. Let's begin with something that's socially accepted, even romanticized. A little drink before bed, a quiet nightcap, a glass of wine to unwind. Sounds harmless, doesn't it? But I want to tell you about Arthur. He's 73 years old, a retired electrician from Ohio. Every evening, like clockwork, Arthur poured himself just one, not to get drunk, not to party, just to help him sleep. He said it calmed his nerves and helped him forget the stress of the day. But over time, his mornings became different. He woke up groggy, his balance felt off, his thoughts slower than usual. He started forgetting names, losing his train of thought mid-sentence. And one morning he nearly fell on the stairs. His daughter's tests came back normal. Brain scans were clear, the heart fine. But then the doctor asked one simple question. Arthur, do you drink before bed? What followed changed everything. Because the truth is, alcohol may help you fall asleep, but it robs you of the deep restorative stages of sleep your brain and heart need. For seniors, this disruption is even worse. Studies from the University of California show that older adults who consume alcohol regularly before bed have higher nighttime blood pressure, increased heart rate variability, and worse cognitive performance over time. You may fall asleep faster, but you'll wake up more often. And the sleep you do get, shallow, ineffective, dangerous. Arthur stopped drinking, not entirely just in the evenings. He replaced his bourbon with warm herbal tea, sometimes with lemon or ginger. 3 weeks later, he told me, I didn't know how tired I'd been until I actually started sleeping. That's senior health. That's the power of change. That's what Elderly Reflections are all about. Understanding that the small habits we carry into our later years have bigger consequences than we ever imagined. So the first thing you should never do after 60 is drink alcohol before bed. It's not helping, it's silently harming. And you deserve better. Now let's move to the second habit, one that's a bit trickier because on the surface, it looks healthy. Exercise. That's right, movement, stretching, staying active, all wonderful things. But the timing? That's where many seniors go wrong. Let me introduce you to Evelyn. She's 69, lives in the quiet hills of Vermont, and prides herself on being active. She walks daily, does light strength training, and even enjoys yoga. But because her days were full, taking care of the house, helping her daughter with the grandkids, Evelyn often pushed her workouts to the evening, sometimes as late as 9 or 10 p.m. She felt good doing it, energized, accomplished. But then something strange started happening. Her sleep fell apart. She'd toss and turn, feel restless, wake up more exhausted than when she went to bed. Her doctor pointed out something she'd never considered. Late-night exercise increases cortisol, the body's stress hormone, and stimulates the nervous system, making it harder for the brain to shut down, especially in older adults. A 2020 report from the Sleep Foundation confirmed that people over 60 who engage in intense activity within 2 hours of bedtime have significantly worse sleep quality. It's not just about rest, it's about your brain's ability to process memories, your heart's ability to slow its rhythm, your body's ability to heal. Evelyn changed her schedule. She moved her yoga to the morning, her walks to late afternoon, and instead of lifting weights at night, she now does gentle stretching, breathing exercises, and journals for 10 minutes. Her insomnia, gone. Her mood, calmer. Her energy, steady. She said, "It felt like I took my nights back." And you can too. What you do after dinner matters more than you know. These hours before sleep are sacred, and after 60, they're a time for slowing down, not speeding up. You've spent a lifetime running, working, fixing, helping. Now it's time to listen to your body, to honor the wisdom that comes with age and to let your evenings become a time of healing, not harm. So tonight, take a quiet moment, think about your own routines. Are you unknowingly disrupting your own rest? Could one small change, like swapping wine for tea or shifting workouts earlier, give your heart and mind the rest they need to stay strong? I promise you this, it's never too late to try, and you don't have to do it alone. That's what this channel, Elderly Reflections, is all about. Learning from others, growing together, holding on to the strength that comes from elderly wisdom, and sharing life lessons that matter. If this message spoke to you, even just a little, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, where are you watching from? Are you in the US, Canada, Europe? Your story matters here. And if you want more senior health tips, real stories, and nightly motivation, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. That way you'll never miss a chance to grow stronger, heart, mind, and spirit. Stay with me, because up next we'll reveal a common bedtime snack many seniors think is healthy, but could secretly be raising your risk of stroke. This is the power of knowledge, and I hope you'll take the next step with me. There's a strange thing that happens after 60. Your body, though older, starts speaking more clearly, sending messages not just through pain or fatigue, but through the subtle ways it reacts to food, stress, routine. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice bedtime is when these messages become loudest. You might think what you eat at night is harmless. Maybe it's just a light snack, something comforting before you sleep. But here's the truth. One common habit that seems innocent is quietly increasing your risk of stroke, heart pressure spikes, and disrupted sleep. And chances are you've done it this week without thinking twice. Let me take you back to a woman named Teresa. She's 76, living just outside Dublin, a retired librarian, gentle spirit, sharp mind. Every evening around 9 p.m., she'd fix herself a little snack. Her favorite? 2 slices of whole wheat toast with peanut butter and a glass of warm milk. She believed it was healthy, protein, a bit of calcium for her bones. But something strange kept happening. Her legs would cramp during the night. Her heart would race. She felt puffy, uncomfortable, like her body was holding on to something it didn't want. Her doctor looked over her habits and found it right away. Thing you should never do? 3. Eat high-sodium foods before bed. Now, peanut butter may seem harmless, and in moderation it is, but most commercial brands are packed with hidden sodium. Combine that with toast, maybe some salty cheese, or even canned soup or crackers, and you're flooding your body with salt right when it needs to be winding down. The National Sleep Foundation warns that seniors who consume more than 500 milligrams of sodium close to bedtime are far more likely to experience disrupted deep sleep, elevated blood pressure during the night, and increased water retention. It's not just about your heart, it's about your brain. Excess sodium reduces your brain's ability to flush out toxins during sleep, a process critical in preventing memory loss and cognitive decline. Teresa switched things up. She now opts for a small bowl of oatmeal with blueberries or half a banana with almond butter. Within 2 weeks, she noticed a difference. No more cramps, her sleep deepened, and her morning blood pressure readings dropped by nearly 10 points. The lesson? Just because a snack is small doesn't mean it's safe. For seniors, every ingredient carries more weight. What you put into your body in the final hours of the day either heals or harms. And after 60, healing is the priority. Now let's move to another habit. This one hits closer to the mind than the stomach. And it's especially tempting when the house is quiet, when you're alone, when you want a bit of company without having to talk to anyone. Thing you should never do: 4. Watch emotionally intense or negative content before bed. Let's talk about Harold. He's 81, widowed, lives alone in Seattle. Each night after dinner, he'd sit in his recliner and watch the news. Then a murder mystery, then a war documentary or a courtroom show. He didn't think much of it. It was routine. But slowly, Harold became more anxious. His dreams were darker. He felt heavy in the morning, like he hadn't rested at all. He'd startle awake at 3 a.m. with a tight chest. It wasn't his body, it was his brain. Seniors are especially vulnerable to what's called emotional residue, the lingering effect of what you see and hear, especially before sleep. A study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that seniors who consumed violent or emotionally negative media before bed reported significantly more sleep disturbances, depressive symptoms, and higher cortisol levels the next day. That's right, just watching stressful TV or YouTube before bed can raise your stress hormone levels while you sleep. And for older adults who already struggle with emotional regulation due to changes in brain chemistry, this effect is even more pronounced. Harold changed his routine. Now he plays soft instrumental music in the evenings. He reads a page or two from a favorite book of quotes, elderly wisdom passed down through generations. He even started journaling, just one line a night, something simple. What gave me peace today? He told me something I won't forget. He said, I still miss my wife, but the silence doesn't scare me anymore. It feels like her voice lives in it. That's what a calm night gives you, not just better rest, but space for healing, reflection, peace. And that's what Elderly Reflections is all about, making space for the parts of you that still want to grow, even now. So I want to ask you, what do you feed your mind before bed? Is it fear, chaos, or peace? You deserve peace. You've earned it. And the good news? It's not hard to get back. Turn off the screen 30 minutes earlier. Listen to soft music. Read something comforting. Try prayer or meditation. Let your mind find a rhythm that helps your heart breathe easy. Tonight we've covered 2 more quiet dangers that most seniors never notice. Salty bedtime snacks, negative mental input. They seem small, but night after night they add up. They steal your rest, they age your heart, and they fog your thinking in ways you don't even realize until they're gone. So if this part of the video spoke to you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like this video, subscribe to Elderly Reflections, and hit that bell so you'll always know when a new story is ready. One that honors your journey, your dignity, and your health. And in the comments, let me know, where are you watching from? Whether it's Texas or Toronto, Edinburgh or Arizona, your presence here matters. Because we're not just watching a video, we're building a community. One story at a time. Next, I'll reveal the final piece of this nighttime puzzle. It's the most overlooked danger of all, and once you understand it, everything else will start to make sense. Stay with me. There's more elderly wisdom ahead. There's something sacred about the quiet of night, especially after 60, when the noise of the world finally softens, and all that's left is you, your thoughts, your breath, your memories. It's in these moments that your body begins its most important work. Not the things others see, like walking or talking, but the silent miracles. Your heart slows and resets, your brain filters through the day, your muscles repair, your immune system strengthens, but only if you allow it to. Because there's one more habit, one final mistake many seniors make at bedtime that shuts down this healing process without warning. It's not what you eat, it's not what you watch, it's something even more personal, something invisible, something that creeps in when the lights go out. Thing you should never do. 5. Go to bed emotionally heavy or unresolved. Let me explain. After 60, your body doesn't just respond to food and medicine. It responds deeply to emotion. You may not feel it in the same way as you used to. You might not cry as easily. You may keep your worries to yourself. But your nervous system, it feels everything. And when you carry unresolved feelings, grief, regret, loneliness, resentment, into your pillow, your body never truly settles. That means shallow sleep, a racing mind, and a heart that never fully rests. I want to tell you about George. He's 82, a retired watchmaker from Pennsylvania. Every night he went to bed thinking about his son, about the argument they had 5 years ago, and the silence that followed. He wouldn't talk about it, not even to his neighbors or doctor, but he carried it in his chest like a weight. His sleep, broken, his energy, gone. He said he felt tired in the bones. It wasn't just age, it was unresolved pain. A recent study from the University of Michigan found that seniors with high emotional stress before bed, especially those dealing with isolation, grief, or guilt, experienced up to 40% less deep sleep than those who took time to emotionally decompress. Their cortisol levels stayed elevated, their blood pressure didn't drop, and their dreams were more fragmented, often filled with confusion or anxiety. This isn't just theory, it's biology. The body remembers what the mind won't say. And after 60, when your reserves are lower, those emotions hit even harder. But here's the hope.
Yes.
Because the solution doesn't require therapy or medication. It begins with something much gentler. George started a new ritual. Just 10 minutes before bed, he'd sit in his chair with a notebook and write down one sentence. What am I holding tonight that I want to release? Some nights it was anger, some nights sorrow, some nights he didn't even know. But the act of acknowledging it, of putting it into words and letting it leave his body onto paper, that made all the difference. Within a month, he was sleeping through the night. He said, my body finally stopped bracing for impact. That's the wisdom we learn from the elderly, from years lived with full hearts and sometimes heavy ones. You can't always fix everything before bed, but you can choose not to carry it into your dreams, You can choose peace over pressure, stillness over spinning. So tonight I invite you to do something powerful and simple. Before the lights go out, sit with yourself. Not your phone, not the television, just you. Ask, what am I still carrying that doesn't need to come with me into tomorrow? And let it go, even if only for a few hours. That kind of care, that kind of presence, sends a message to your body. You're safe now, you can rest. We've now come full circle from Arthur's bourbon to Evelyn's late-night workouts, Teresa's sodium snacks to Harold's intense media routines, and now George's quiet grief. 5 habits, 5 stories, 5 truths, and through them all, a deeper lesson. Your nights matter not just because they help you wake up stronger, but because they honor who you are now. You've made it here, past the noise, the pressure, the proving. Now it's about restoration, about holding yourself with the same care you once gave to everyone else. So as you prepare for sleep tonight, let your routine be one of intention, not just what you avoid, but what you choose. Choose warmth, choose stillness, choose music or silence or prayer. Choose to eat in a way that feeds, not fights your heart and brain. Choose content that uplifts. Choose to release the day, gently, fully. That is what Elderly Reflections teach us. That peace is not something you stumble into, it's something you build night after night. And if this series has meant something to you, if you felt seen, reminded, or strengthened in any way, I want to invite you again. Like this video, subscribe to Elderly Reflections, turn on that little bell, because your journey matters. And I'd love to know where you're watching from. Tell me in the comments. Europe, North America? For senior health, for life lessons that don't fade with age. They grow with it because no matter your age, your life still holds beauty, purpose, and light. And how you close the day, how you treat your heart before sleep, that may just shape how brightly you rise tomorrow.